With summer being well underway, I want to share several of my summer fragrances. I know nothing about perfumery. I actually recently got into Fragrantica earlier this year. I just want to note that I despise the summer. It's my least favorite season, but a part of me just can't help but gravitate towards scents that are watery, fresh, and clean, which are pretty prominent notes when you're looking into fragrances that are suitable for the summer. So the perfumes that I'm about to show you is essentially my entire perfume collection that I have so far, besides like one or two that I save for the colder seasons. I'm going to begin with the first fragrance that I believe is the most summery scent out there. It is also a fragrance that I personally do not own, but it is on my wish list. It is Diptyque Ilio. When I first smelled this scent, it smelled like a beach day. It smelled somewhat nostalgic to me. Even though I hate going to the beaches, it just reminded me so much of the beach. I'm imagining you're laying on the sand and the sunscreen you had on a few hours ago is just slowly wearing off. You could also probably smell a little bit of that saltiness from the water in the air as well, and the grittiness of the sand. I think it is a wonderful summer scent in my opinion, even though I hate the summer and it reminds me so much of a summer beach day. Something about it just evokes nostalgic memories. It's really hard to describe. I hope to have my hands on it one day. I just can't bring myself to purchase a full 100 milliliter bottle of it, especially because it is really only just suitable for one season only. The second scent that I want to introduce is a scent that I do not own. Again, I do hope to have a bottle of it, but I do have a sample and decant. It is Diptyque Lilyphea. It's a fresh, watery, somewhat floral scent, but the dry down is quite warm and it could be from the bourbon vanilla. I actually don't really like anything gourmand or vanilla, so I was pleasantly surprised to smell like a light and fresh vanilla once it dried down. This reminds me a lot of a pond. There's lily pads on top and fishes swimming around. There's rocks surrounding this pond and just small patches of flowers. This is such a delicate, serene, quiet scent. It's not supposed to project too much, but just enough for you to know that there is a scent just lingering in the air. I can't bring myself to buy a full bottle of this, mainly because of the price point, but I will have my hands on it one day. The next several scents that I'm going to introduce are, unfortunately, I don't want to say difficult to attain, but it is quite pricey considering the fact that these are perfumes from overseas. So we're taking into consideration on taxes and tariffs and shipping costs. So if you ever have the chance to, I would recommend going to the store physically to smell it. There are sites like Taobao where you can buy scents and fragrances off of. It's just too complicated, but there are certain websites that will ship out these fragrances. I'm going to start with Bitters from To Summer. This is not at all a bitter scent, which I was a little taken aback by. When I first smelled it, it smelled very resinous. It reminded me so much of those spiritual crystal rocks. I'm imagining you're walking in a small town. It's a cool late morning, just about to get hot. And as you're walking past these stores, small businesses, and boutiques, you come across a spiritual shop and the door is barely opened. So that incense smell inside the store is just quietly lingering into the street. It's a bit ambery, and I can see why this might feel a little too heavy to wear during peak summer times. So I actually think this is a great seasonal transition scent. It could work for both late summer and early fall. During August to September would be a great time to wear this. I'm actually sharing this with my dad because he also really likes it. It doesn't really have this medicinal scent. It's very, very slight, but I think the resinous quality of this perfume is really what is projecting throughout the entire wear. The next scent I'm going to introduce is Kinfolk Notes Captain's Bar. This is the brand's second bestseller, and it's not your typical citrus scent. It's a little bit more complex. I searched up the website to see what information I can gather from this scent, and there was actually a small little story or blurb of how the scent came to be. And when I was reading it, I can definitely envision some of that. This scent reminds me a lot of summer vacation. You're walking on the boardwalk overlooking the beach, and it's about to be nighttime, and as you're walking through the boardwalk, you're entering back into the busy part of the street. You're grabbing some drinks at a bar and you're sitting by the outdoor patio while the rest of the street is just very lively and busy, filled with other bars and restaurants. It has a very citrusy note, so it feels fresh at first, but the dry down is quite warm. I think this could work for both the day and night for that specific reason. This definitely reminds me a lot of an outdoor patio and a summer vacation. It just smells very complex for a citrus scent. I was looking forward to wearing this in the summer because I actually got this in Korea during the winter. The next two scents are from MUJI, and I didn't even know that MUJI did fragrances, but I bought these scents in Shanghai. I don't know if these fragrances only pertain to MUJIs in China. It doesn't hurt to take a look around and see what other MUJIs from other countries might be selling fragrances. I know the one in the US does not have fragrances, at least not yet. Hopefully they do, because there is a huge array. I also do want to note that everything is in Chinese, so I had to translate the story and the notes, the title of the perfumes. Take all of that with a grain of salt, as it is just translations and nothing is exact. This one is 0 Degree World. It's labeled as a citrus aromatic scent. Unlike Captain's Bar, this is a pretty linear citrus scent all throughout. I'm envisioning you're on top of a hill. It's a plain field and there's a cabin far away. A lemon tree is right in front of you. The sky is blue and clear. And by this huge lemon tree, there's just small patches of flowers surrounding it. It has a bit of that citrusy yet like green and grassy smell. I think the citrus is really what overpowers the entire scent. It actually reminds me a lot of this one scene in Illit's comeback music video. I was just looking at it randomly and it just reminded me so much of the scent. The next scent from MUJI is called Declaration of Blooming Flowers. This one was labeled as a green floral. It is the hottest summer day, like during peak summer solstice. You're hiking along a forest path or forest trail with 2 or 3 other people. There's tall trees everywhere. You're walking past a lake and every single corner is just filled with moss. Because you're hiking with other people, you could also smell a little bit of a skin scent. I think the best way to put it is you can smell the presence of others. I know this sounds extremely detailed. I'm explaining this whole scenario based on the initial scent up until the dry down, because the dry down does have a bit of that skin scent quality, but at first smell it's very green and a little bit floral. I think this could also be used in the spring and the fall. I just envision myself wearing this in the summer way more. The next scent that I want to share is When the Rain Stops from Replica. I used this so much during the spring, and I actually think this could be a good scent for the summer as well. It's just as the title suggests, it smells like when the rain stopped. The description even says fresh rain and sun rays, and I can definitely envision a bit of that sun ray peeking through the clouds after a rainy day. You're in the city, the concrete floors are all wet, the trees by the streets are dripping water. It has a little bit of the citrus note to it. It's very slight. I think this could be a great scent to use after a hot summer rain. It is a little complex to be saying that it's only suitable for after the rain. I think this could also be used when it's raining too, because it's not entirely cloying. The last scent that I'm going to introduce is Jo Malone's Star Magnolia. This was gifted to me by my grandmother. She went to London years ago. As you can tell, I completely finished it, so I'm basing the scent just off of the cap. It just smells like a farmer's market. I don't know how else to describe it. I could only just see myself wearing this on either a walk outside or even just passing by this farmer market. This is a very day scent. I can't imagine myself wearing this during the night. Because I haven't used this in a really long time, it's really hard for me to dissect the scent again and really put some imaginary scenario in my head. So that's why I'm pretty vague with this specific scent. And that concludes my summer fragrances. Hopefully this was helpful. Nevertheless, it was still really fun to make because I get to imagine what I would be doing when I'm wearing these scents. Hopefully you could use these as recommendations or even possibly just a decision factor for your next summer fragrance.